DJs in Chicago. One of my best friends in the world. Give it up for DJ Sound Arkitek, baby.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Yes.
Thanks
Hell
so
yeah,
much.
my boy.
This is yours truly. DJ Closet Runs Deep. I'm a DJ tonight.
I'm fucking dead.
MC APC fucking Poppy.
It went.
Introduce yourselves, friends.
Bailey, your humble park honey.
I love that.
Exclusive, elusive. I don't know. I can't.
Oh, I forgot I was the Bucktown bastard.
That's what you want, yeah.
What's up, world? It's your boy, the Belmont Bully, a.k.a. Ichabod Crane,
AKA Green Light Gold.
a.k.a. the Green Lantern. You know what's up.
AKA Nicolas Cage.
Nicholas Cage.
That's amazing.
That's so funny. Hell yeah, my boy DJ Sound Arkitek,
Hey.
man. If y'all don't know, me and DJ Sound Arkitek was doing Face Value Radio, Bad Luck Radio / Face Value Radio on Beloved Radio for the past,
rest in peace.
2 years?
2 years, yeah.
Yeah, unfortunately, last month was the last month, man.
That's crazy. It's already done.
Yeah.
Rest in peace, beloved.
I know, yeah, they was really doing some shit for the
For
city.
real,
I
for
fuck
real.
with it.
Yeah, no, they were great. Shout out to them for the opportunity and just for allowing us to have that space.
Yeah.
That's really great.
Hell yeah, yo.
That I could play some shit that I want to play. You
Yeah,
know what I'm
for real.
saying? Because
That's
like
great.
as a DJ, I'm sure that like it be mad shit you want to play that
Yeah.
you can't get off for real.
No, yeah, that's definitely true. I mean, I feel, well, first of all, I just want to say thanks for having me. This has been something that we've been talking about for a long time.
Years.
Yeah. A long time.
yeah,
And
yo.
before we even get into me, I just want to give you guys credit for the podcast and for everything that you guys do and seeing, your growth as my friends and as just a pod and just seeing all the great things that you're doing and the platform you're providing for people is just like, I want to give you guys your flowers. So,
Damn. Thank
for real,
you.
like,
Thank you, dog.
I wanted to come in here and like really get that off because I mean, I love you guys. Outside of this, I mean, a lot of people maybe watching or listening don't understand that like you guys are like my best friends, so.
Love you, Steve.
Yeah, I love you guys.
Love you,
so that first, but as far as DJing goes, I mean, yeah, there's a million things that I want to play that I, it's all about finding the right space to play those things. It's not that you can't play certain things. It's that you have to lead people to get to where you want to go musically. The example that I always use is like I'm a huge aficionado and fan of drum and bass. And, I've been playing it for 20 years and I have a drum and bass radio. So shout out to Subtle out of London, Hackney specifically. I do once a month. And that stuff never really caught off in the mainstream here. So a lot of people don't really get it because, if you really break it down, it's generally 87 BPM, which is just like a mid-tempo hip hop track. But because of the breaks and the drums, people think like, oh, this is too fast. I can't dance to it, But so if I want to get them to that place and I'm playing kind of like an open format set, I have to lead them to get to that point. And that, takes, you have to, I don't think any audience is a bad audience. I think that you just have to meet them where they're at. You know what I mean? Like, so when it comes to radio and having that ability to really just have complete creative control and be like, yeah, you can do whatever you want. That's why I like doing studio mixes too, is because I can just play kind of whatever I want and not have any restrictions around genre or tempo or BPM. It's just like a completely creative outlet for me to just dig through my music library that I've amassed over the last 20 plus years of playing music.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's cool. I mean, shout out to Beloved and, shout out to Subtle.
When we first started, like I was just trying to do like local songs and like new shit.
Yeah.
But
Just
like
to put
after a
people
while,
on.
I'm just like, I feel like playing the Leo on this one.
Yeah,
you know
right,
what I'm
right,
saying?
yeah,
But when
yeah.
I got in my library, like
Yeah. No, that's really true because as a DJ, I think one of the things that's important is to constantly be digging for music. And it doesn't, necessarily have to be music that's released in 2024, but new music that you forgot about. I find things that I forget about constantly or I've forgotten about or didn't even know about. You know what I mean? Like the first time I found out there was a Fantasia When I See You remix with Young Jeezy. I was like,
I've never heard that
I was like,
before.
this exists and I play it all the time.
Have you heard the remix with Remy Ma?
No, I didn't.
Yes.
And that's the thing. That's the thing about like that era too. Is like I remember one time I told Nate I was like, yeah, we were talking about Lean Back, and I was like, oh yeah, the remix with Eminem and Mace by Lil Jon, and you had no idea that.
I remember that.
Yeah, like just that. So like digging for stuff, and I actually the other day I was playing. Shout out to Ace Spade. I was doing a set with him, and he played "You Don't Have to Call" or not. You don't have to call. He played
Twerk It Out.
No, he played. he played. What's that Usher song? It's up tempo. But anyway, there's a remix with Fabulous, and I was like, did you know there's a remix of the song with Fabulous? I had. Caught Up.
Yeah.
There's a remix with Fabulous, and he's like, I had no idea that existed.
Do you remember when he put Jada Kiss on
Yeah.
Throwback?
Yeah, Throwback. That song.
That's hard.
Shout out to Just Blaze. That beat is crazy.
Insane.
Yeah.
Yeah, G. Because like when I first started doing it, like I was like imagining like I was playing songs for like people to like be at the party and shit.
Right.
But,
Yeah.
but like as we kept going, I'm like I started doing it for like people that's riding in the cars and
Right,
shit.
yeah.
Because like that's how I used to get up on music before this
Yeah.
streaming shit. I used to be listening on SoundCloud to like DJ mixes, like
Right.
Ryan Hemsworth mixes.
Right,
And shit.
yeah.
You know what
Oh
I'm
shit,
saying?
yeah, man.
Yeah.
Ryan Hemsworth.
Yeah.
But yeah, Steve, before we can nerd out all fucking day for sure.
Yeah.
Let's get into your origins, like where the name came from, where you're
Sure.
from, your early experiences in DJing, what made you want to start, all that shit. I mean,
Yeah, totally.
Answer that in any order, but
Yeah. So, Sound Arkitek, the name, kind of, this is the honest answer, is one night I was laying in bed and I wrote it in my notes app, and I woke up the next day. I'm like, yeah, that sounds cool. That's literally it.
Sick. I love that.
But so my first DJ name ever. So okay, let's even before that. So how I got into DJing was I was even before I was a teenager. When I was a kid, when I was like 8, 9, 10 years old, I loved music. I just loved music, and I didn't grow up in a musical family. Like my parents didn't listen to music. My parents aren't musicians. I didn't know any DJs. It was nothing like that. It was just kind of like always something that attracted me to music. And I was always like, I'd be in the car with my mom listening to the radio and just being like, what song is this? You know, that type of thing. And then honestly, like a huge part of it was music television, MTV.
yeah, of course.
For real.
You know, MTV2, BET, The
Yeah.
Box, you know, which is crazy.
Yo, when I did
That's
that
what we
emo podcast, we were talking, and I was like, "Gee, I used to
Yeah.
find new songs from like when the show was going off on MTV, and they used to
Right.
play
Yeah.
the video at the top with the
Yeah.
credits at the bottom.
Yeah.
That's how I was getting those shit.
Yeah. And so, you know, especially growing up, you know, I turned 38 next month. So, I, you know, started growing up on the internet age. So there's like Napster and, you know, stuff like that. So like, but even before that, I would just ask my mom, like, what is this song? You know? And then I started going to like, you know, CD stores and just, the first CDs I ever bought were, the first CD I ever bought was Jamiroquai's Traveling Without Moving, which is a great first purchase.
is.
And then the second one was Everclear's So Much for the Afterglow.
Great
Those are like-
album.
yeah, those are like the first two
Yeah.
CDs I remember buying. And then I remember there were some kids who lived behind us, these twins, and first time I really ever heard like hardcore hip hop, they played me Doggy Style. And I remember listening to the song G's and Hustlers.
This is for the G's.
Yeah,
And this is for the
and like the Shiznit and Lodi Dodi, because I'd seen like What's My Name like video, and I just thought Snoop like looked so cool, you know, with the Pittsburgh Penguins jersey and all that. Or I think that was Gin and Juice, but the What's My Name video is when he was morphing into a dog. But crazy technology.
That's probably the first video I like actually remember too, like in life.
Yeah, and
when he turned into that Doberman.
Yeah. And so, but then I have an older sister. Shout out to her. She's going to listen to this. And this might be the first time she knows about this, but I stole her copy of Green Day's Dookie on tape.
Good. Sorry, sis.
Sorry. But, and that was, cause like, that was like, I saw their Woodstock 94 performance on like
I
MTV. I'm
remember
like, these
that.
guys are so cool, you know, like eating dirt and like throwing it in the crowd and shit.
Yeah.
And then, so when it comes to hip hop though, I was watching like Rock and Jock, and it was like a lot of fashion stuff too. Like I was just like, this just like crisscross. Like I remember trying to put a baseball jersey on backwards. You know what I mean? Like, but yeah. And then, so when it came to DJing, I always feel like this is a group that does not get the credit they deserve, because I feel like people think it's corny to like them, but I'm a fucking huge Beastie Boys fan. I love
Same.
Beastie Boys, you know? And so it was really the video for 3 MCs and 1 DJ. And the whole video, it was basically just Mixmaster Mike making a beat with one record, not two, just one record. He was just doing this technique called drumming. And I was like, that's so cool. I want to do that.
What is that? How do you do that?
I'm not a turntablist, so my understanding of it is basically you just use the crossfader, and they have these things called battle records, and battle records have phrases on them. They have like and fresh, and like they have like sentences, and then they'll have like little drum breaks. And so you basically find a drum break, and you scratch a kick, and then you scratch a snare, and then you like make a pattern out of it, a drum pattern out of it. And so Mixmaster Mike is part of the Invisible Scratch Pickles, and I won the DMC like a million times and all these different turntablist things. And so I was just like, that is so cool. I want to do that. And I grew up in the suburbs of Chicago, and pretty much everyone around me was like in bands or playing traditional instruments like bass and guitar and drums and stuff. And, I was like, I just want to do that. That's what resonates with me. I think that's really cool. So for my 14th birthday, I asked for a pair of turntables. My first pair of turntables was a Newmark starter kit. Thankfully, so there's two different kinds of turntables. There's direct drive and belt drive. And belt drive, just what it sounds like, runs on a belt. And the belt can snap, or, it's just if you're trying to learn to mix and scratch and stuff like that. Direct drive is just like runs on a motor. So it's like a lot more conducive to DJing. But, you have a rest in peace, Rock Rado, one of the greatest turntablists ever. He actually learned to DJ on belt drive turntables. So it's not really necessarily about the technology, it's about what you do with it. But I was just really lucky. And then, just any money I got would just start buying records. I'm trying to think, actually, I think the first record I bought was actually a Mixmaster Mike record. I think it was called Anti-Theft Device. And then I just started like collecting things. He did this routine, actually. Mixmaster Mike did this routine. He opened for, he was a Beastie Boys DJ. So they did a show in Glasgow in 1998 where he did an intro, and he was beat juggling, which for those who don't know is basically where you take two copies of the same record and you like make a beat out of it, essentially, like the same song. You like make something new out of it. And so he was doing it with this song, and I had no idea what it was, and I found out it was Tom Sawyer by the band Rush. And I was like, I'm going to get that record so I can try that. And then I tried, and I was not as good at it. And then I was really lucky to be able to grow up and go to record stores and, ask record clerks and there were other DJs in the shops, about these kinds of things. And again, having access to the internet, being like, being on like underground, like ughh.com, undergroundhiphop.com, literally.
Yeah.
Just being like,
I remember the site.
And just being like, finding out about DJ Premier and Pete Rock and the Beat Nuts and all these kinds of things. And then my first gig ever was at my 8th grade talent show. And I did I hesitate to call it a scratch routine, but I did like a little thing over actually a Beat Nuts record called It's the Nuts, which is the flip side of No Escaping This, which is, I can't remember what album's off, but Beat Nuts are definitely like one of the hardest duos ever in hip hop for sure. And this was when I was 14. So like my memory's but I just remember doing it and people like cheering and like standing up and like applauding, and I was like, this is so cool, and it's so funny. So DJ names, my first DJ name ever actually came from a Mixmaster Mike song, because he had the song called Terrorist, but wrist was spelled with a W, like wrist, like a pun. And so this was in 2000. This was a year prior to 9/11. And I tried to have them announce me as that, and they're like, no, we're not going to do that. I was like, all right. So I don't even know what I went by, but yeah, I just did my thing. And like, that's kind of how I started. I mean, my biggest influences musically, obviously like my big sister, like she put me on to 9 Inch Nails and Green Day and Lords of Acid. And there were like some of her she was a couple of years older than me. So like a lot of her friends had, I first remember hearing about Big L from one of her friends, Mobb Deep from, a lot of skate videos too. You know?
Of course. Yeah.
Like, so that's kind of like my trajectory of like how I got into music.
Skate games too, for
Yeah,
sure.
Skate
Games changes a fucking.
Yeah,
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah.
That Tony Hawk 2 soundtrack was
Yeah.
crazy.
Yeah,
That
I always
put me
tell-
on the hella shit.
I always tell people I would not like hardcore if it wasn't for that game.
I
I
used
would
to
have never
go-
heard Black Flag.
I used to go in that
I
bitch.
probably would've heard Black
I turned
Flag,
off
but-
the songs I don't like.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
All the assholes, I turned them off.
Yeah, I remember that B-Boy Document 99.
Yeah.
And then when I was like, where I don't know how I found it, but I found out Sound Bombing 2 because it's like the third song. It's a third song on Sound Bombing 2, and actually the first song I think is Eminem's like first song on
Any Man.
Any Man.
Wait, on Tony Hawk too?
No,
Sound Bombing
B-Boy
2.
Document
Okay,
99 was on
okay.
Tony Hawk 2. I think it was Tony
Oh, I
Hawk
was
2.
like, what the Eminem on
No.
Oh, they had Guerrilla Radios on
Yeah,
there.
Gorilla. Yeah.
I would definitely rip to that song. For
Oh,
sure.
yeah.
You know,
Motherfucker.
still to this day, I do not know how to play a record.
I mean, it's pretty easy.
It's so confusing to me how y'all know where the songs start at. Like, how do you know where the song starts at?
That's an interesting thing about learning to play on records is like, you have to know where this, if it's an album and it's got like 7 tracks on it, it's like, okay, I know track 1, 2, like you can tell by the grooves. But then if you're playing like, a single, which has like, 2 songs on one side, it's pretty easy to tell which is which, you know. But I mean, it's all about looking at the grooves. But to your point, when I watch these like battle DJs, I'll watch like old DMC battles or whatever, and it's like these guys, like you'll watch A-Track and he'll be like 16 years old and he'll have no headphones on. This is pre-Serato. This is 22 years ago. I have no headphones on, just needle dropping, just like, and there, there were tricks too. You could put like a little piece of tape next to where you wanted it to go and shit like that. But I never was that advanced with it. The closest thing I did with my records was I'd write the BPMs on it, and then when I had my record crate, I'd sort my crates from slowest to fastest. So I could like, just run, and that's still how I do it with Serato. Is I sort it by BPM, and I'm like, okay, which is kind of cool because it gives you like a lot of creativity to be like, oh, there's this song that, I mean, just because 2 songs are the same BPM doesn't mean they're going to go together, but like it gives you ideas of like, how to kind of do things.
Yeah, just like you were saying how to, like sometimes they have one record and they just have like a voice on there and it just hit right when I'm like, how do they know that that's where it's at on the record?
Yeah, a lot of it's practice. I mean, when I listened to, I recently rewatched, Craze did a routine. I can't remember what year it was, but it was a routine that he did, and he practiced that. It was like a 5-minute routine, and he practiced it like 8 hours a day for like a year. Like those DMC guys, especially like that was arguably a lot of people think that was like the golden age of turntablism, like the late 90s, 2000s. You had Craze, you had all the greats kind of going up, at it against one another, and so like just watching those, that is something that, I'm never going to say I will never do that, but it's not something that like I currently can do. And as far as me is like, I've always been like a party DJ, you know what I mean? Like I like making people dance and making people rock out, and you can definitely like Jazzy Jeff is the king of that shit. Like he's one of my inspirations. I think he's still the greatest DJ of all time.
I seen Jazzy Jeff. He played some Red Bull thing at the Metro one time.
I did. I was there.
You was there? Yeah, I was like, he's going crazy.
Yeah,
bro.
there was Mad Skills was emceeing.
Yeah.
That was the 3 style, and he did a set, and he was just like, he's the expert of like, he'll do routines, but then he's like a party DJ, but then he'll like, the thing I love about him is like, there's certain DJs who like their scratching is just, it's like, I hate to say this, but like the average person doesn't care about scratching. You know what I mean? Like people aren't going to the club to hear somebody scratch. You know what I mean? People are going to like hear songs. And,
juice.
Yeah.
I was like, were they really getting that turned up back there?
Yeah. So
these DJ battles.
Yeah. So yeah. I mean, like I think there's like, and I've heard Craze say like, a lot of times he'll do sets and he just won't even scratch, and there'll be like scratch nerds like waiting for him to do it. And he's just like, nah, it's not. I'm here to play a party. Or like A-Track, he'll do house sets and he doesn't scratch a lot, you know. So I mean, I think it's obviously like an incredible piece of music and DJing, but that's just not necessarily like what I'm interested in. If I do cut, I want it to just be funky and on beat, and that's really it.
Go ahead.
Go ahead. Yeah, you got it. You got it.
You used to have a Smart Bar night a long time ago. That's your first residency?
Yeah, so my first residency was actually at Smart Bar. I did a night called Base Weight with a couple guys, this dude, Sushi, and this other guy, Wobi, and it was primarily, so this was like 2011, 12, 13, up to like 2014, 15, something, and it was primarily like UK bass music, so it was like dubstep, grime, UK garage, drum and bass. We booked a lot of really cool DJs, did a lot of really cool stuff. Actually, so the cool thing about Wobi is there's this video, you can find it on YouTube. It's called like, it's like a 5-minute quick mix or something. And he is like, his DJing vinyl, and he's doing like this grime and dubstep mix. And it's been like, it's got hundreds of thousands of views on YouTube. And there's this DJ currently named Nefa T. He'll play on like 6 turntables. He's crazy.
Yeah, I be seeing people doing that for real.
And he does like all this crazy stuff. And like when people were asking about his influence, he said Wobie was like one of his influences. And so like it's crazy to have done a night with somebody. And he's like the most cool, down to earth guy. And then Sushi was like a UK garage, like stateside. He was just like, that was his thing. That was his scene. Actually in Dallas, they have they used to, I don't know if they still do, but it's like a UK garage conference. There's like a huge scene down there. And yeah, I mean, we booked a lot of really cool DJs, a lot of cool things. Like I've met a lot of really cool people through that. Some of whom I'm still friends with. Shout out to my friend Ben, who he does a show on a radio station called Sub FM. And he's said to me before, like how influential that night was for him. And there's also the person who would do a lot of the booking. We'd kind of bring the artist to her, and then she would, reach out and kind of like we'd negotiate all the contracts and all that kind of stuff. Her name is the Blessed Madonna, and she is a world famous house DJ now. She did a remix album for Dua Lipa. She just did a song with Kylie Minogue. She's worked with like I'm talking like superstars, you know what I mean? And so like it was a really cool experience and a really cool thing to be able to do that and to see people like Bill and Wobie and this other guy. Actually, I got to shout out Chris Woodman. Chris Woodman does a show called Abstract Science. They still do a night at Podlisi. I think it's called Raw Code, I think. But it's like stuff that's like it's like post dubstep and like techno and kind of like really, really cool stuff. So it's cool. It's cool that people are still, they're still doing their thing.
Hell yeah. Yeah, when dubstep first came out back then, that was that shit. Look what America do, how they ruin everything. As soon as we get to America, we gonna ruin it.
I mean, that's the thing with that music is like it's become such like a dirty word, and like
it is a dirty word.
And like and that's the thing that kind of bothers me is like when I was, when I started getting into that style of music, like I was already into dance music, and I was really into drum and bass, and there was like I was into UK garage, and that dubstep is sort of like an offshoot of, it's on the continuum of the hardcore. And so there's breakbeat hardcore. And like, it's, if you really break it down, it's just like that branched off into jungle, which branched off into drum and bass, and there's UK garage. And then dubstep came from like the darker, minimal side of UK garage. So, when we start in the scene, we started calling it bro step because it wasn't really dubstep. It was just a bunch of dudes and neon headbanging.
Because I remember when it first came out, I used to be at these underground parties in college and shit, and it would come on, wah, 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 wah. I'll be like, what the fuck is this? I never heard nothing like this before.
It's really cool. I mean, like I'll still play some of like the older stuff, and like there's still cool new stuff coming out, but like I'll still play some of that old stuff just like when I feel like it,
I remember that was like right when Shazam came out. I remember one of the first songs out Shazam was a Joker song. It was a
Joker.
This shit is fucking
Joker's
hard.
the shit. Yeah, shout out to Joker. Yeah, he's amazing. That was a really great time in my life for sure.
So, in a world full of DJs, what do you do to like stand out?
Yeah, I mean,
or how do you survive even?
I think the biggest thing is, first of all, like being good. That helps. I mean, which I'd like to think I am, but also, professionalism goes a long way, just showing up early, being courteous to, the management and owners and also understanding that it's a job, like this is a job and we're working. And different venues have different things they want you to play. And, I think when you're really hungry, you're kind of just you'll take anything, but once you kind of get deeper into it, you have to kind of see where you fit in, cause I know there's certain spaces that like, they'd want me to play something and that's not really kind of what I'm on. So I probably would pass on it. But, when there's that combination of like, okay, this is what I do for money, but it's also like, how do I satisfy myself artistically, and how do I get kind of like what I want what I want out of the gig, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I think, you know, how to survive is just, I mean, professionalism, like, you know, treat it like a job. If you're trying to get a gig, you know, treat it like a job interview, you know, have your resume, have your things you've done, you know. I think, you know, the amount of times that, you know, I've seen people, you know, kind of just talk to club owners or managers like crazy and be like, hey, like, I'm a DJ. How do I, you know, I want to do this. It's like, you know, talk to somebody like they're a person, you know what I mean? And that, you know, that goes a long way. And then, you know, like just, basic professionalism. Like, you know, your DJ booth is your workstation, so make sure it's clean, you know, clean up after yourself. Like just really basic stuff. It sounds,
don't get super fucked up.
Don't get so trash that you're just trash. You know what I mean? Like, I think that stuff really goes a long way. And I mean, like, have, you know, living your aspirations, you know, like living, like, viewing, you know, for me, like I view everything I do as like a stepping stone to the next thing, you know what I mean? Yeah. And I think there's a lot of people in just life in general, but especially in the DJ world, who can get very just comfortable with being like, okay, I'm going to be here forever. And it's like, okay, if that's what you want, that's cool. But like, you know, I have higher aspirations. You know, I want to tour. I want to, you know, play arenas and, you know, do all these things. And so it's like viewing this really as a job and making sure that you're treating it like you'd treat any other job, you know?
Exactly.
Hell yeah. Do you like audition or something? Or
I mean, I treat every set like an audition, honestly. Like, I mean,
how do you get your gigs?
Yeah. So like, back in the day,
without too much free game.
So I mean, back in the day, like, I still, like, I'll, you know, if somebody wants me to record a demo mix, I'll record one and send it to them, like via SoundCloud or Dropbox or whatever, and be like, hey, you know, 30 minutes. This is like a condensed version of what I would do over the course of 4 hours, you know? But I, you know, it was really just like that way back in the day. It was just like, I'd bring somebody a mix CD and be like, hey, you know, I'm a DJ. Like, this is what I do. Here's a CD, you know, of a mix I did. Like, I do, you know, promo mixes and give them out to people. Or like when I would play house parties, I'd remember just like spending hours burning CDs, you know, and just like bringing like 50 CDs and then just giving them out for free. And then I was like, okay, cool. Now I got to do that again. You know what I mean? Yeah. So it's just, you know, now it's, you know, I'm in a position where people who are in these positions of like booking DJs, not everybody knows me, but like a lot of, you know, people do, or like you have, you know, once you kind of get in like good with, no, once,
that's crazy.
It's fine. Once you kind of get, you know, it's like any other job. When you have a reference and you have a good reference, it's like, okay, cool. You know, like there's people who are like, yeah, you know, he'll do a great job.
But like at the beginning, was it like kind of, I guess when I was in college, you know, I went through a whole thing where I wanted to be a DJ. I felt like there were no female DJs, and I was like, yep, that's my niche. Like, I fuck with Stone's Throw heavy, and like,
totally.
You know, Jay Dilla changed my life and stuff. So I was like, maybe this is the avenue I should go. But it's more of just like, I guess when I tried to approach it when I was older, and like I didn't even approach it, but when I thought about trying to approach it, I guess I would understand, like, yes, you would have to have some kind of demo of like how it would go. But like, I guess, how do you bridge the gap in between what that demo sounds like, and then I guess when they're like, okay, I fuck with the demo, and then they give you the job, and then like, what's the vibe, you know, like how do you make the vibe match what you just did in the demo, and like you don't stray too far where they're just like, what the hell, like this doesn't this isn't what we booked you for at all. Like,
yeah, for sure. I think that's a really good question. I think you know, that's where your music knowledge comes in, right? Like that's where, you know, so if I give somebody, let's say I give somebody a 30-minute mix or whatever, and they're like, yeah, that's cool, do that for 4 hours. It's like, I'm not going to play that first 30 minutes just like back, you know, like it is on the CD. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not going to do that. But, you know, that's where your music knowledge comes in. And it's like, okay, cool. You know, they're looking for, let's say it's like, you know, they're looking for music that's danceable and accessible, nothing too underground, but is, you know, doesn't stray too far from, you know, they give you these very specific things. It's like, okay, well then this is where my music knowledge comes in. Like the thing about me is like, I'm a music fucking nerd. Like I can spend all day at a record store. Like I constantly look for new music, whether it's released this year or old, and I'm just constantly digging for stuff. So it's like when you get into that situation, it's like, okay, cool. I know kind of what they're looking for. It's almost like if you use, I mean, I know a lot of people use Apple Music, Spotify. So like, if you have to have like, if you have a song and you go to the radio and there's like a million songs like it, it's kind of like you have to have that just in your head. You know what I mean? It's like
algorithm.
You have to have an algorithm in your head of like, okay, this is what they want, stuff that's similar to Kate Tronada. It's like, okay, cool. Well, I got to do a set that's, like I did a party one time where this woman was moving to South Africa and she wanted like a lot of Amapiano and Afro beats. And I was like, okay, cool. I'm somewhat familiar with that stuff. Let me brush up on it. Let me get my knowledge up on it. But like, what's similar to that? And I was like, okay, well, I could do R&B. I could do dance hall. Those are more things that I'm way more knowledgeable about than Amapiano and Afro beats. So I'm like, okay, I'm going to stick in that lane. And then I did it. And she was like, yeah, it was great. That's perfect. I was like, okay, cool.
Okay.
So it's like, it's being able to know, have that like guidance, but like not having someone like hold your hand and, cause as a DJ, it's like, you don't want somebody to tell you like, play this, but don't, you know what I mean? Like you want to have a little bit of freedom. So it is kind of like having that algorithm in your head.
Yeah. See, when I was fake DJing for a minute,
don't say that.
No, cause I was for real. I thought I was really DJing, and then like, I played probably like 10 DJ sets in my life. Yeah. I remember my first one out, it was at Primary. Remember Primary?
I played there before. Yeah.
I'm DJing at Primary, and like, I'm coming in, I'm like, I'm playing all hip hop. And they were like, tap you, she's like, hey, you gotta play something else. And I'm like, oh shit.
Yeah.
Playing nothing but Jada.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. But then like I realized that like me, like I be around so many DJs, like a lot of my close friends is DJs and shit. And I was like, they really taking this shit as an art form. I'm just doing it for the clout for real. Like I'm more of a curator like than a DJ for real. I'll pick out the songs.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Well, Anderson .Paak has some guy that does that for him. I think he picks the songs, then Anderson .Paak plays them.
Yeah.
It's hard. Yeah, I mean, he's like a stylist and shit. Just like his music.
That's sick.
And he's like his music. He's like
music stylist.
Yeah, that's basically what he is. I can't remember his name, but like, that's cool, man.
Yeah, like shout out my boy Composure Squad. Like I was living with him at the time I was DJing. He DJ, so I'm like, I'm finna start DJing too.
Right.
Yeah. And like I knew it when like I would come down in the morning, like I'll be making raps and writing raps and making beats and shit. And then when I got a DJ set, then like 2 days before the set, I start practicing. Jermaine practiced every day type shit.
Yeah, I think that's
really just loved to DJ.
Yeah, I think that's the thing that is really important is to never stop practicing. Never stop. It's like if you watch a guitar player, people who play guitar, they play guitar when they're bored. They just sit around and like noodle around, and it's like the same thing. I mean, with DJing is like you have to keep your skill set up. You have to constantly be, try new things, and you can't just do that at the gig. It is really cool to like do something on the fly and be like, oh shit, that was really cool. But it's also like every set I do quote unquote set. Every time I practice in my in my apartment, I'm like imagining the room and like how they would react to it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it's almost like when you're a kid and you're like pretending to sing in the mirror and you're like in front of an audience. It's the same shit. It's just imagining like,
I still do that.
Yeah, it's like imagining what would this be like? You know what I mean? And I'm like, okay, and then you try it, and sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes it's just not the right crowd for it.
Yeah, I just be fading the songs in and out.
That's cool. That is cool though, because I did
that for a little bit. It was hard.
When you go
playing nothing but rap,
looking like I'm turning knobs and shit.
Yeah, exactly.
I remember I was DJing that Primary the first time, and I remember I'm thinking I'm going hard. I'm hitting the sync button. I'm going crazy. And I look, and Jermaine all the way in the back, he say, "Turn the lows on." I was like, I was like, damn, the lows was off this whole time.
That's really funny. Yeah. No, I mean, being a selector, I mean, that's where this really all comes from is,
Selector.
That's what it is. That's what it is. It's like, if you really think about, especially like with hip hop DJing, like Kool Herc's Jamaican, and he brought sound system culture to the South Bronx and started just selecting records and playing them. That's what sound system DJing is it's just like playing tunes,
That's what I am for.
Yeah, I mean, that's cool. There's people that do that stuff. Like,
because I'll turn it up. Don't doubt me, I'll turn it up.
Yeah,
I don't know when to turn the mids and the lows and all
that's
that.
That's like
shit.
a really important point, though, is like, I think a lot of times, like, your selection matters more than like your mixing. If you're going to choose, like, if I know my room, I know my crowd, and I don't necessarily know how to mix. It's like just play the songs, play them in the right order. Like I just did a wedding, and the crowd was like, a lot of people were from Dallas, and they were like, I was just like playing country, but I wasn't even mixing. I was just playing songs, and they were going crazy. Yeah. It's just like,
are we that predictable?
It was just like, it was like, you know, I'd go from Dixie Chicks to Friends in Low Places, and they were like, yeah, let's fucking
God damn it.
Yes, go crazy.
And it was just like,
Y'all should be ashamed of yourselves.
that was great. It was great.
You should never be that on the nose.
It was awesome. It was
That's
awesome.
sick though. That's cool.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, DJing is really just, when you break it down, it's like the art of just like knowing how to play what songs at the right time, the right place, to the right crowd, you know? Yeah, thanks. I've been doing a lot more production stuff and really trying to get my production chops up. So
Oh yeah, yo.
I appreciate the play.
Yeah,
That's probably, I'm gonna put that on my Bandcamp. I have like a whole Griselda remix EP I did. So if you go to djsoundarchitect.bandcamp.com, there's a lot of edits and stuff on there, but I'll put that up there. Trying to be better about releasing music.
Hell yeah.
So we were kind of talking about nightlife before the break,
Yeah.
and I, you know, you are quite expressive on the internet, which I really like, and you know, you're very direct about etiquette and shit like that. But just on this platform, I kind of want you to speak on request etiquette, how you feel about it, how you genuinely feel about it.
Yeah.
Like how you genuinely feel about it deep down inside as a person,
right?
And then also how you handle it at the venue.
Yeah, I appreciate that question. I mean, so the thing about requests is that, you know, I've had a lot of conversations with my DJ friends. Requests are a part of the job. You know, like you are to a certain degree you're in hospitality, right? Like, so the way I view it is this: is if I'm paying money. Right. If I'm paying $30 to go to a venue and see, you know, A-Track, it's like the reason I'm going to see A-Track is because I want to see what A-Track does. Right. But when I play at the places I play, it's like, if I'm at Blind Barber, it's like people aren't coming necessarily off the strength of my name. Like, yes, there are people who are coming in because they like what I do and like what I play, but a lot of people are just like, I like this place. I want to go
uphill.
You know, I want to, yeah. So I want to hear the music that there's an expectation almost, right? Or like at nights and weekends, it's like there's an expectation of like, I'm going to hear Sexy Red, I'm going to hear Glorilla, and it's like, so it's about understanding the room. The issue I have with it is this is what I always say is, you paid to get in here, but I'm getting paid to be here. So clearly one of us is the expert on this, right? Like this is my job and I was hired to do it, and I do it well because I'm here every week. So trust me, you know, that's really, as far as etiquette is concerned, it's like, I try and have empathy for people who, like, you work all week, you know, like I also, I want to say that I'm very blessed. I'm very lucky to do music for a living, but you know, I've worked my ass off, and I've worked my ass off to get here. But you know, so I try and see it from the perspective of like, there's people who work jobs they hate, and they work jobs that they don't like, and then they spend all week preparing for this one night out, you know, and they prepare to, you know, their outfit, and they prepare their, you know, they get Ubers, and then they have to pay a cover, and then they, you know, buy drinks, and there's so much anxiety around like, will I be able to hear these songs? Will I be able to get these, you know, hear these things that I want to hear? And it's just kind of like, so I understand it. So the way I feel about it is like, if you're going to make a request, you know, I've had people touch me. I've had people poke my back. I've had people wave in my face. It's like, don't do that. Like, I'm a person. That's the first thing, is like, you know, I'm a person. I'm at work, and like, you know, the DJ booth is my workplace, and so it'd be the same as like somebody coming behind the bar. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like you know, that's like a cardinal sin. Like, you don't do that. You know what I mean? Yeah. So, you know, just like, and the phone thing, like a lot of times people hold their phones up, and it's like, I understand that's maybe they think it's being easier or making it easier for me to get their request in, but like, honestly, it just really annoys me. You know, like I think it just annoys me because it's like, you just telling me, first of all, like, this is kind of how I feel, is like, most people's requests are the most obvious shit. You know what I'm saying? Like that's actually that song you opened up with, that Nas and Genuine song. I had someone request that a couple weeks ago.
Yeah,
I was
man.
like,
You play that
that
almost
shit.
every set.
yeah, I was like, but that's cool.
Yeah.
But like usually it's like, oh, you're gonna play Get It Sexy, and I'm like, no. No, not like, you know what I mean? Or like, are you gonna play Not Like Us? I'm like, yeah, it's 10:30. Like, I'm not, you know what I mean? Like, so it's like people don't understand too that you build a set and you build.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, so I'm a really big fan of like comedy and stand-up comedy, and I watch a lot of interviews with comedians and actors, and a lot of them talk about how when you're doing comedy, it's like I have like, so you're building, right? You get a laugh and you build, but you have, you know, the way I view DJing is like, I might start you at a 6, I'm going to get you to 10, but I'm going to take you there gradually. And it's like when we're at a 9 and you're like, oh, this can't get any better. I'm like, I have this thing in my back pocket that I know is going to take you to a 10. It's going to send you into orbit.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And so it's just like, just trusting the DJ to like get you there. And so it's like, you know, I appreciate requests when they're in line with kind of like what we're doing. Like I had somebody the other day, I was a blind barber, and she was like, hey, like, I hate to do this, but can you play, she showed me her phone and it was Dang by Mac Miller and Anderson .Paak. And I was like, yeah, that's cool. Like I can play that. It's within the realm of what we're doing, you know? Or like somebody asked for After Hours by Kalani, and like, that's cool. You know what I mean? Cause it's in the realm of what we're doing. But like these obvious requests of like, can you play, you know, Get It Sexy? Yeah. Glow. Like, you know, all these songs that are like top 10 hits. It's like, I'm going to get to them. You know what I mean? Or, and so, I mean, the way I feel about it is like, if you're going to make a request, like, wait, like I know you're there. I know you're there. I can tell you're there. Like I can see you out of the corner of my eye. You don't got to touch me. Like I can feel your energy. I feel you there. So just wait for me to acknowledge you. I'll acknowledge you. You can make the request. And if I say no, that's it. Like, that's it. You know what I mean? Like there's, you know, or if I say I'll get to it, I promise you that it's in my mind. Oh, you know, if you're polite, like, you know, oh, I'm going to try and get to this song, you know, cause I want to make people happy. But overall it's like the request stuff, you know, sometimes people can just like get a little too overboard with it, or, you know, this is why not everybody, I like how accessible DJing has become. Like people, you can buy a controller for $200 and then you can get a Beatport subscription and just, you know, and Serato or whatever, and just like do your thing. But like the problem is, you know, like people don't understand that if I'm at this tempo, it's this time, it's, you know, this vibe. It's like, if I'm playing R&B, if I'm playing 95 beats per minute R&B, I'm not going to play a 75 per minute twerk song. You know what I mean? Like,
Fuck nigga free.
Yeah,
It's a
like,
terrible
it's like,
transition.
You know what I mean? It's like, I will get there eventually.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's just like, yeah, I mean, that's really the thing about, like, I don't hate it. I recognize it's part of the job. I definitely want to get to a point where people are just like coming to see me, to see what I have to do. And I have a new night, which, you know, I'm going to start doing Saturdays at Revel Room in October. And that's going to be like a little bit more, just like oriented around like the DJ as like an artist, you know, but it's still going to be a party. It's still going to be a party for sure. But like,
is it weekly or monthly?
Weekly. Yeah,
Hey,
every
weekly,
Saturday.
okay.
So, so yeah, that'll be a lot of fun. But yeah, so it's just like, you know, cause we were kind of talking about this before the pod started, where it's like, I like making people dance, you know what I mean? And it feels like I've had conversations with several people, DJs and non-DJs, over the past week, where it's like, man, all people do is twerk nowadays. You know what I mean? Like they're not, you know, I want to make people dance. You know what I mean? Like twerking to R&B is crazy. You know what I mean? Like,
Oh my soul.
you know, or like, so yeah.
This is not that.
Yeah. So to just get back to it, it's like, yeah, with requests, it's like, I totally understand that, you know, you have this thing, you have this song, you really want to hear it, but, you know, give me a little bit of trust that I'm going to get there. You know?
Also, like, even just like seeing, because we work together often and have often. Anytime I see it, I'm always just like, what? Like, hang out with your fucking friends.
Right.
Like,
Yeah.
why all up in the DJ's face, all up in the bartender's face. You
Yeah.
know what I mean?
I think
in line for the bathrooms. Like, why can't you just like sit down and relax with your friends and just enjoy some music and dance? Like,
Yeah. No, totally. I totally agree with
niggas are
that.
so focused on like the songs, the specific
Yeah.
songs.
People don't want to dance. No.
Well, it's also
Yeah.
like, you know, people go out to create content. You know, people don't
Yeah.
like, you know, there was not to date myself, but you know, I feel like there was a time where people went out to dance and hear music.
Oh my soul.
And now it's kind of like I'll see people and they'll have like ring lights on their phone. I'm like, that shit is blinding me.
Yeah.
Like you're in front of the DJ booth with a ring light on your phone. This is like filming TikToks. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that nights and weekends footage would be looking crazy.
Yeah, and it's just like I love and appreciate that people are like having fun, like and doing their thing, but it's like there is something to be said about like just getting lost in the music, you know, and just like doing being with your friends.
You said something interesting I never thought of, or like people go out to make content.
Yeah.
That's the only reason y'all is to take pictures and to say all that.
So the DJ booth,
It's fucking crazy, yo.
dude. The DJ booth like will have, it's got like this thing where if you really want to, you can balance your phone kind of like this against it, and there will be people who do that and just film themselves dancing, and I'm like, that's cool, you know, but like, and like, it doesn't make me mad. It's more just like, man, just be in the moment. You know what I mean? And I get like taking photos and being with your friend. I get that. I get wanting to preserve and remember this night out. And like, I love that I'm a part of that. You know, I love that like I'm a part of like creating these memories for people. But, you know, at the same time, it's kind of like, it can get overdone sometimes where it's just like, man, just like enjoy the company.
Yeah, I feel like people don't want to be, they don't want to be seen being anything less than what they deem is acceptable for themselves online.
Yeah,
Right.
Yeah.
Because like even like when I'm doing shows and shit, I'll be like, come to the front. Like y'all paid money to get in here, so y'all consider y'all should want to have fun. Y'all should come with the expectation that I'm gonna make y'all have fun. So y'all should come and try instead of, you know what I'm saying?
I think you know, as we kind of talk about kind of like the origins and stuff, I always go back to like, as an artist, like what your why is. Like, why are you doing this? You know what I mean? Because sometimes it gets so easy to get caught up in like, I'm doing this because, you know, it's a job, or because it's like, at the end of the day, like the reason I became a DJ, when I go back to my why, it's like, it's because I love music. I want to share music with people. I want to bring people together. I want to make people dance. That's it.
Yeah.
There's nothing deeper than that.
For real, yo, I really love it for real. Like, a motherfucker perform, I'm gonna go to the front. He making me, if he make me nod my head, I'm gonna nod my head, put my hands up. I'll be like, y'all put y'all hands up. Niggas don't even want to put their hands up.
It's the too cool for school thing is like,
and that's
this podcast's most hated thing.
Yeah, and that's the other thing about, like, I literally, so shout out to this dude Wes, who I met at nights and weekends, and we become friends. He came out last week, and I texted him a couple days later, and I was like, hey man, thanks for coming out. I really appreciate it. And he was like, yeah man, it was great. He's like, but man, there's just so many people standing around. He's like, I want to dance, you know? And it's like, and so it's like, yeah, there's a lot of people who, you know, especially in nightlife, who just want to be seen. It's like, I'll sometimes I'll be like, man, I'm crushing it, and then I'll just look around and there's like just dude. It's not women, it's dudes.
It's niggas in logo Burberry shirts and fake Hermes belts.
And I'm just
grabbing girls' elbows. Come here, shorty.
And it's just like,
they never get a drink.
Yeah, and it's just like, man, I'm playing, like I'm crushing it right now, and people are just like standing there looking at me. I'm like, come on, man.
I'll be dancing by myself.
Yeah, I mean that's the thing. Like you gotta let loose. Like I don't do it as much anymore, but I mean I'm not good at it, but I love dancing. You know? When the mood strikes, you know, when that shit comes on.
Yep.
If I get in the mood, I'm for sure about to dance.
Oh yeah, for sure.
I'll look at I'm finna go on the flow.
Yo, so I know this shit probably goes hand in hand with you being a sober person. Like you're not a judgmental person at all. You know what I mean? I think you're used to the shit, but what's it like being sober in this lifestyle?
The reason I don't dance as much is because I'm sober. Just to be honest with you, is like when I used to have a couple drinks in me, I'd be like, oh fuck it, you know. But so letting loose. I mean, so first of all, I owe my success to, you know, and what I'm doing to obviously like my own hard work and my friends, and there's been a huge support network, but my sobriety is like my number one reason for getting to do this professionally. You know, it really is like, and I'm really grateful to, you know, people who have helped me stay sober, and, you know, people who, you know, are in my life. You know, I got to shout out my friend Ari. He's my best friend, and every time I make a beat or anything, I send it to him, and he's gonna listen to this, and he's just like, he's you know being around him and his kids, and like you know, my sister and my niece and nephew, and just like, you know, having that. So, and then like, again, there's too many friends to mention, which is a great problem to have, but, and you guys are definitely part of that, but like being, you know, yeah, just being sober is like, in the nightlife scene is kind of like, it's almost like a superpower. Like you are unfazed by bullshit. You know what I mean? Because it's like, as a DJ, it's like, I'm here to work. I'm not here to get fucked up. And that's an advantage that I have as a sober person, as a sober DJ, is like, I don't, like, you could come up to me, like, there's nothing you can give me that I would want. There's nothing you could give me that I could want. Like, you know what I mean? Like, when people try, like, I've had that happen where people are like, yo, what do you drink? Like, play the song, get you. I'm like, I don't drink, so nothing. You know what I mean? Like, there's nothing you can do.
Bread only.
Yeah, it's like, yeah. Even then, probably not. But
yeah,
you know
no,
what I mean?
yeah.
But no, it's just like, yeah. I think being sober in nightlife is, you know, very. It gives you a lot of clarity. Sobriety in general gives you a lot of clarity, mental clarity, but it also gives you a lot of, like, my DJing is just so much better because that mental clarity allows me to think like 5 songs ahead. Yeah. You know what I mean? And that's what the best DJs do, is like, I, you know, am setting this up. It's like teeing something up. You know what I mean? And it's like, again, like I'm here. I'm here. I want to get here. It's like, and these are the steps I'm going to take to get there. And so making that, you know, when you know, for me, when drinking is kind of like, you know, when I would drink, it would be kind of like, you know, and I'd be DJing. I'd be like, oh, this would sound really cool. And then I'd be recording my sets and I'd listen back and be like, what the fuck was that? That shit was trash. You know what I mean? But like now it's like, if my mixes or blends are trash, it's like, well, that shit's on me, you know, and then I just have to practice more and like get that shit right. But it's also like, you're just able to read the room better because when you're DJing, you're controlling the party, you're hosting the party. You know what I mean? Like you're not the party. Like you shouldn't be. We're not at the same party, right? It's like we are, but we're not. It's like similar to bartending. It's like I'm here to give you a good time, but like I'm not here. I'm not on the other side of it with you. Like you're enjoying yourself, and I'm enjoying serving you, but like I'm here to work. You know what I mean? And that's kind of like the biggest difference is like. You know, and I think a lot of people, so with the requests, going back to the request shit, is like a lot of people don't understand that, like, you know, I'm not drinking. You know what I mean? Like I'm not. So I think a lot of times people will think like, oh, you know, like they'll be fucked up and they'll think I'm fucked up too. And I'm like, no, that's not it. You know, so I think it just offers me a lot of mental clarity when it comes to DJing. It offers me a lot of like, you know, I mean, like professionalism. Like I'm never hungover. I'm never fucked up. I'm never, you know, like just
tired,
being
like,
fucking stupid. If you know what I mean? Yeah. It's just like, you know, you come in, you're professional. It's just, I don't know. I mean, I never preach it, but it's just like, for me, it's the best way to live my life.
Oh yeah. You ain't never lied about like having that clarity before the show. The difference is that you be playing for 4 hours and I'll be playing for 20 minutes.
Yeah.
But like, I definitely won't drink before. Like when I stopped rapping over my doubles is when I was like, I can't drink before the show for real. 'Cause I definitely did the first couple of times and fucked up the words. Like I'm definitely gonna fuck up the words for real.
Yeah, I think
so. Like but like as soon as I quit, I'll be like, let me get a beer.
Yeah. I mean, I think like for me, it's. I mean, I could do a whole podcast just about sobriety, but yeah. I mean, for me, working in nightlife and being sober, it just offers me the ability to just think clearer, to be in a good state of mind, a good headspace, and just really, you know. Think about like what's best for the room and not, you know, necessarily be like, I want to play this drum and bass record. It's like, well, they don't want to hear that shit. So like, you know what I mean? So it's like, okay, cool. Like I got to be mindful of like what, you know, everybody else is doing. And like, it just makes me a better DJ for sure.
Yeah.
You know, I love when like places have like multiple DJs that DJ in different styles.
Oh yeah, for sure.
So sick.
Yeah, that's definitely something that, you know, growing up in the rave scene, and, you know, it'd be like there's a house DJ, then there's a drum and bass DJ, then there's a techno DJ, then there's a hip hop DJ, and it's like I love that shit. I mean, that's what I try and do. Like this new night at Revel Room, it's called Taste. Starts October 5th. It's going to be just pure open format. You know,
Hell
you're gonna hear broken beat. You're gonna hear garage. You're gonna hear hip hop. You're gonna hear house. You're gonna hear all that, and it's gonna make sense, and it's gonna be like cohesive. And I'm gonna bring in cool guest DJs, and it's gonna be dope.
Yeah, because
cool.
I love listening to footwork music.
Oh, yeah.
I'll be trying to listen to footwork for 3 hours.
No,
straight.
for real. Yeah,
that's nuts.
Yeah, shout out to Penny Whistle because I just played there last week and I got to get off tons of juke and footwork and people were going. Like I played like a bunch of recipes DJ Dion. I played a bunch of DJ Dion, recipes DJ Rashad. I played a bunch of Rashad. Like I played Traxman. So it was dope. It was really fun.
Yo, like I can get into a couple Gabber songs. I ain't trying to hear that shit all night.
I can't do Gabber. That's one thing I can't do. For those who don't know, Gabber is like Gabber's literally like 200 beats per minute, just 4 on the floor bass like kicks for like you're supposed to do ketamine and just stand around.
Like,
no, fuck that.
Sometimes
shit.
I'll be I used to go to
Worst drug
to
too.
them raves. I used to go to them raves and I'd be like, gee, y'all playing the same shit. Yeah. You gotta switch it up a little bit.
Yeah, that's I mean, yeah, it's me too. It's like, I mean, when I listen to music, it's like I'll go from listening to dub reggae to listening to Amanda Whiting, who's an amazing harpist, jazz harpist, to listening to Super Heaven, to you know what I mean? Like, so it's like as a DJ, it's like that's gonna, might not necessarily play those things, but like musically, yeah. I mean, I'm gonna jump around because I just love so much music. Life's too short to listen to one fucking thing. It's like,
oh yeah, yeah. I know you, and to that point, like I know you have. I mean, I feel like people that know you know this, but you have extremely heavy roots in hardcore and punk and metal and shoegaze and everything surrounding. And like, what's your especially being so much of an involved DJ now, and just like this is pretty much your life,
right?
What's your relationship with that world now?
Yeah, I mean, I still love the music. I mean, here's my thing, and I've said this to friends privately, is like when it comes to like hardcore punk specifically. So hardcore punk is, I fell in love with hip hop first, but I wasn't really going to hip hop shows as a kid. Like I was lucky enough to grow up where there was a punk scene, and so I'd go to punk shows, basement shows, and that was like when I was a teenager, like early teenagers, like 13, 14, 15.
It's like, yeah, where you from?
I'm from Naperville.
Oh yeah, true.
Yeah, so it's like that.
Yeah, straight up Naperville. I've never met anyone that's from Naperville.
Yeah, like Doug's and shit.
Yeah. So I'd just go to basement shows and go to like shows at the local skate shop, and which actually, to bring it back, that's the first time I ever made a mixtape. I gave it to the local skate shop, and I'm sure they threw that shit up.
They littered your album.
It was trash. Yeah, no, it was funny. I mean, the guy was cool about it. I was like, they had turntables up on the second floor, and I was like, I want to DJ at the skate shop one day. That's my dream. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
that shit's cool. But yeah, no. So it was just like punk was really. It was really cool, and I was lucky enough to be around people who put me on to like really cool shit, like Krudos and Charles Bronson, and like I got really into like Youth Crew shit early. So like Chain of Strength. I actually saw Earth Crisis is playing here in November.
Yeah, I'm going.
That's sick. Sure. But yeah, no. So I was just like, and then I got into Terror and Hatebreed, and eventually like Cold World. I mean, Cold World was like, I was like, these dudes are sampling. They're saying this is a Mobb Deep lyric. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
Is that a Sean Price?
Yeah.
16?
I was like, what? It's like Cool G Rap is on this. Like, I remember the person who showed me. I was like, it was either Ice Grills or the first Cold World album. He's like, you gotta listen to this, and I was like, this is cool. But I had this is like really stupid. But I was a teenager, right? I was a kid. But I was like, I remember, so some of the first gigs I ever did were like in basement shows, and people would just like go outside and smoke, or they'd like, which like is cool, whatever. But like, I remember a couple years later, I don't know if this happened in everybody's scene, but people got like really into Big L, and which is dope, you know. But
mad bands are ripping like.
But I was like, people would be like, "Have you heard Lifestyles of Poor and Dangerous?" I'm like, dude, I played that. And you guys went outside. You know what I mean? So it's just like, it was when I first heard Cold World, they're like, there's this one Terror album. I think it's the very first Terror album where Raka Iris Science from Dilated Peoples has like a drop.
That's on not Lowest of the Low. It's on One with Underdogs. Yeah.
And there's like this one song on that album that has like a huge like 808 bass kick in it. And I was with my friend at the time in his car, and he's like, "You gotta listen to this," because like, and that shit's cool. And so like, I guess as I've gotten older, it's like I've realized like I can recognize that, like, as silly as it sounds, I was kind of like, I wouldn't say I was gatekeeping, but I was really just kind of like, man, do you guys like really fuck with hip hop, or is it like a gimmick to you? Because like I really fuck with this shit, you know. Like this is like when I say, you know, there's that 21 Savage song, "Rap Saved Me." Like I really feel that way. Like I really feel like hip hop gave me, which sounds crazy because it sounds. I mean, it sounds fucking crazy, but like it really did. You know, the way people talk about punk and hardcore, and they're like, this gave me a space, this gave me a place to like, you know, show or express myself or like whatever. It's just like when I got into DJing and when I got into hip hop and when I was just like, it felt like home to me, you know what I mean? Yeah. And so my relationship with that now is like I like a lot of I still listen. I try and listen to new bands. I try and listen to like, I mean, in terms of hardcore, it's like I don't really listen to a lot of new hardcore, but like other shit. I mean, rock music or like guitar music. Yeah. I mean, like I listen to shoegaze all the time. I listen to alternative rock all the time. I listen to, you know, post grunge or post shoegaze, you know, whatever they call it.
Yeah.
I listen to shit like that.
Well, I guess I'm asking you, like, do you identify as a hardcore kid?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean,
in the world that you're in.
Yeah, now. I mean, I love
not now, right. But you know.
Yeah, I mean,
career wise.
Yeah, no, I mean, So I'll say this: the ethos of hardcore has always been something that I appreciate. Like, you know, when people talk about sticking by your friends, and when people talk about, you know, like just that rule of like when someone falls down, pick them up, like that type of shit, like is good life lessons. You know what I mean? Hell yeah. And so like that's the type of shit that I take away from it is like, even though, you know, like, yeah, I'm not going to the Rumble, I'm not, you know, going to see Earth Crisis, but like
you're tripping.
I might Hatebreed's playing October 6th. I might go see him.
I'm going.
Yeah, that's the week of my birthday, so I might go see him.
Let's get it.
But yeah, no, I mean, like, so it's like the ethos of it and like the community aspect of it. It's just like, you know, Nate, you and I talked about this, where like, for me, I just feel like, you know, you go where you're loved, and you should go where you're loved, and you should go where you feel appreciated. And the spaces that I feel loved and appreciated in are like the club, you know, and like hip hop shows and DJ battles and shit like that. And, you know, like I love that stuff. And that's, you know, at 37, about to be 38 years old, it's like, I feel like I'm finally the best version of myself. And I feel like I'm finally like living my truth. Mm-hmm. And so it's like, I love, like when I see like young people, like when I see kids all the time in like band shirts and like, you know, that shit's really cool. And like seeing kids form bands and like, or like, you know, seeing that shit's super, super fucking cool. I love the energy, you know? And I think one of the things with hardcore for me is like, it is a young person's game, and that's cool. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like
true.
Old heads for sure, like have things to offer and things to say, but like for me, the thing about punk rock that's always been cool is like, it's not that you grow out of it. It's just that like that anger and that frustration, as you get older and more mature, I think you deal with it differently. Mm-hmm. And when you're young, it's like, I want to scream about the shit. I want to punch somebody in the face. I want to do that. And then you kind of like, as you grow and you mature and as you like, you know, if you listen to the Trapped Under Ice record from 2000, you know, the demo from 07, and then you listen to Angel Dust and it sounds like Tom Petty. It's like that dude matured. You know what I mean? He changed. He grew up. You know what I mean? And like that's cool, you know? And like that's with hip hop, to kind of bring it full circle, is like, I think hip hop needs to do the opposite and appreciate its elders. You know what I mean? Because I think a lot of times people view hip hop as a young person's game, and like some of my, like that Benny the Butcher shit, he's in his 40s. Yeah. 2 Chainz, 40s. Pusha T, 40s.
And a lot of them
like,
didn't even come out. They didn't even get there. You ain't know about it until they was 30.
Yeah. And like
35.
Yeah. Like, and DJs like Jazzy Jeff to me is still the king, and he's 60. Premier's still the GOAT, and he's late 50s, you know? So it's just like, I mean, as far as hardcore, it's like, The other thing about it too is just like I don't ever want to be like, you know, not to make it weird, but it's just like I don't want to be like perceived as like the hardcore dude who happens to DJ. It's like, no, I'm a fucking DJ.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, so that's why I always make it like, you know, you already know I have so many fucking hardcore shirts, but it's like, you know, I don't want to be the hardcore kid who's a DJ. It's like I'm a DJ first.
And that's the thing that hardcore will do to you,
Right.
no matter where you try to grow, for real.
Yeah.
No, that's true.
But, you know,
It's
I've been a
like-
hardcore kid that rap forever.
Yeah. I used to lean into that, but I feel you. It's like these like shoegaze bands and shit like that. It's like you wear one hardcore shirt and you're a title fight. You know what I'm saying?
Right,
Like,
yeah. It's like I mean, like I wore a Nothing shirt a couple. I mean, they're not hardcore, but shout out to Nothing. But anyway, I wore a Nothing shirt a couple weeks ago, and I was like, okay, that's cool. But like, yeah, most of the time when I'm DJing, like I want people who don't know me to know like what time it is with me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So,
G-Unit.
if that makes sense. You know?
G-Unit on, rock chain.
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
how important is content creation for you right now?
I mean, you know, it is what it is. I mean, it's the nature of the beast, but like,
The nature of the fucking
yeah,
beast,
but
man.
like I mean, I fucking hate that shit. Like I said, like, I'm about to be 38. I'm not on TikTok. I mean, like,
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like, it's like I said, it's a part of the game, but it's something that I have to be better at. It's just like, you know,
I think you're really good for
I mean, it's just like, you know, it's like getting lost in the shit. It's like you know, shout out to Ace Spade, who's a fucking dope DJ, great guy. He was putting me onto some like apps and stuff because him and Slade. Big shout out to Slade.
Shout out to Slot, man. You got to come back up.
Yeah, we do Tuesdays at Blind.
Oh, he was
Brother.
already on here?
Yeah, Slot been on here.
Oh, that's
sick.
crazy.
Yeah, he's the best dude, and it's just like the world they've created is just amazing, and like a lot of that comes from their marketing and the ways they put their videos together and all these kinds of things. So like I'm trying to get better about it, but like, you know, one of the things that I do want to do more of is like showcasing my DJing. You know, like people are so, I don't use this in a derogatory term, but like people are so like, they have such short-term attention spans, you know? So it's like, how many songs can you play in a minute? You know what I mean? And it's like, you have and like, that's cool if you're like quick mixing and doing that shit. But like, for me personally, it's like, I like to let mixes roll out. I like to I like to do long blends. I like to do, you know, stuff that's a little bit not like, you know, not necessarily like flashy, you know what I mean? And I think it's cool to like, when I see these DJs making reels that are like, oh, I'm going to run through like 10 tracks in 10 tracks in a minute or whatever. It's like, that's really cool. But you know, I want to think about how I can promote what I do in a way that's like accessible to people. But at the end of the day, it's like, if I'm working and I'm getting work and I don't got to do that shit, I'm not going to do it. You know what I mean? Like, fuck that. Like, why do some shit I don't want to do when I don't have to? You know what I mean? But yeah, I mean, I want to, you know, I definitely want to like I have a GoPro. I'm trying to take more videos of me like DJing and like, you know, reaction videos. But like the thing about reaction videos and shit like that is like, that's organic. You know what I mean? I did this one mix where I did Metro Station Shake It into Rich Baby Daddy. And, and like seeing the crowd.
Didn't that go like viral or whatever?
Fucking crazy.
Yeah.
It went crazy. And like, but like that was totally organic. Like you can't plan that shit. So it's like sometimes I'm like, oh, I got this really dope mix I'm going to do. And it'll just like fall flat. I'm like, all right, well, that's not going to make for good content, but it made for the audience loved it. So like, what's more important in that moment? You know what I mean?
Yeah. To close it out, I have two top fives for you. Top 5 bridges in a song.
Okay, so I actually wrote them down.
Oh shit! I wish you would have told me.
Okay, so here's my top 5 all time. All right, I thought a lot about this. I listened to a lot of music. My number one favorite bridge of all time has to be "Can We Talk" by Tevin Campbell.
Can
Okay.
I talk to you?
No. Can we talk for
a minute?
Yeah.
When that bridge hits, bro, that shit is crazy. The second one is Red Light Special.
Yup.
TLC.
Come on.
The third one is Sitting Up in My Room by Brandy.
Perfect.
So those 3 are all Babyface. So shout out to Babyface.
Yeah.
Because he wrote and produced all the songs.
Yeah.
And then the fourth is You Don't Have to Call. Usher.
Yeah.
Neptune's
Yeah.
bridge.
Perfect.
And then the 5th one is Weak by SWV.
Nice. Ooh.
Yeah.
All
That shit
right.
is fire.
Top
And then-
5. Oh,
but
go ahead.
let me give you
My bad.
Some honorable mentions.
Bet.
Butterfly by Mariah Carey.
Okay.
Yup.
Loving Me For Me by Christina Aguilera. Rock With You. Gotta throw Michael Jackson in there. Rock Your Body by Justin Timberlake.
Yeah,
Another
fire.
Neptune's
Yeah,
bridge.
that bridge is fire.
And then here's a couple other ones that are not R&B or hip R&B. Well, these are all R&B. But A Praise Chorus by Jimmy Eat World. That bridge is fucking awesome.
Sick.
Out of the Woods by Taylor Swift. That bridge is fucking great. And then Physical by Dua Lipa.
Nice.
That's a really good one. I love pop music, so yeah.
Yo, me too.
That shit's it.
And top five doesn't have to be really. No, I do hip hop.
Hip hop.
You know, it doesn't have to be something you have, even though you probably have it.
Like hip hop shirts?
Yeah.
Okay. So my favorite shirt that I own, well,
Yeah, do the ones you own. Actually,
Okay.
your top 5 favorite joints you own, and then
So-
we'll put the shits in the.
yeah. So
the post.
my favorite shirts that I own. So my first favorite shirt, and it's crazy because I actually heard this song today. Someone on a motorcycle was playing it. Why by Jadakiss. I have the
Sick.
promo
Yo,
Rough Rider shirt.
damn.
That's right. Yeah.
And I heard somebody, I was like, is that why? And it's this dude on a motorcycle just blasting it. I was like, that's
Fire.
fucking sick when I was walking over here. So that one, because it's an OG, it's from the video. That shit's cool.
Yeah.
My second favorite one, which I don't know if I've ever even worn it, I just have it. I have a promo shirt for Young Jock, New Jock City.
You've worn that.
It's great. Yeah, I think I have worn it once. Just like it's just fire. It's just like a piece of like history, you know? Yeah. Oh, this is a great request. One time a guy comes up to me and he goes, "Hey man, can you play Knock It Out by Young Jock?" And I was like, yes. I was like, yes, I can.
Oh my God.
It was like, I know you see it. Not it's going down.
Yeah.
Knock It Out. I was like, yes, I can absolutely play that song. That was fucking awesome. The third one is probably, I don't know if it's I think it's a bootleg, but it's just a Killa Cameron, Pink Panther, airbrush tee.
Yeah.
That shit's fire. I love that a lot. The fourth one is probably, I have a Young Buck the World promo.
Oh my
that's
God, with the
tight.
ski mask.
No, yeah, but it's just a middle finger and it says Buck the World on it. That shit's awesome. Shit's sick. And then probably, what would it be? Probably like, I mean, I like this jersey a lot, but I would say like the Clips shirt with
We
like,
got it for cheap.
the We Got It for Cheap one. Or no, it's not We Got It for Cheap. It's Lord Woodland.
No business like snow business.
Yeah, no business like snow
Yeah.
business on the bag. That's just fire. Yeah, that shit's dope. Yeah, that's cool.
Oh hell yeah, dog. Sound Arkitek.
Yeah, I just want to give out a couple of dates real quick.
Oh yeah. Do your thing. Plug your shit.
So that was crazy.
Hey yo, my man.
So Mondays at Blind Barber, I'm there. Tuesdays at Blind Barber with Slade. When this drops, it'll be the 16th, I think, or next Monday. So whatever. So Mondays Blind Barber, Tuesdays Blind Barber with Slade. Friday, you can catch me on nights and weekends. The 20th, the 21st, I'll be at Blind Barber. And then again, the following week, Mondays, Tuesdays, Blind Barber. And then that Friday, nights and weekends, that'll be my last set at nights and weekends. And then the 28th, I'll be at Blind Barber again. And then the following week, October 4th, I'll be at Blind Barber. October 5th, again, Monday, Tuesdays, Blind Barber. And then October 4th, Blind. October 5th, my new night taste at Revel. And then the following week is my birthday week, so I'll have a whole bunch of shit going on. And then I'm going to have a taste promo mix dropping next week. I'll send it to you guys. So
Hell yeah.
So yeah, thank you. Yeah, thank you so much for having me. This was a lot
Hell
of fun.
yeah. Thank you, G. It's been a long time coming.
Big love. Thank you.
Oh, shit, I didn't even pick a song to play. What song?
Play Knock It Out.
Yeah.
Might as
Got
well.
to.
Yeah. Shout out to Young Jock. He had a run.
He did
He
for sure.
did for real.
Yo, Sound Arkitek Face Value Podcast,
Thank you,
episode
thank you.
265.